Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I am taking a look at manufacturing yet again, and this will be specifically Tech 2 manufacturing. And I come back to this because I do enjoy the manufacturing side of EVE, and it has been a long time since I did any Tech 2 manufacturing. Obviously with the patch, the changes and everything else that's been going on, I've been concentrating on other parts of EVE, and at the moment I've got quite a lot of characters kind of sat around idle, so I could do with putting them to work and doing something. So at the moment I'm basically just going around and checking my inventory stocks, because at the moment I'm not 100% sure really, to be perfectly honest, what BPOs, BPCs, copies and that I have lying around in materials. We can see here we're in Anson at the moment now. The reason I like to come to the stations is because I find it easier to visualize it while actually looking at it. If I'd have been doing this on a regular basis, this wouldn't be necessary, because I'd be able to, I'd roughly know what I was building, what I would need, and etc. But because I've not done it for such a long time, I'm going to have to go to the stations to be able to have a look to see what I'm missing, what I've got. You know, for here it's I don't seem to have any robotics. So yeah, we're going to need robotics if I want to build the heavies. The heavies seem to have everything else. Need some more bits and bobs. Mimitar stuff. We've got Valkyries. We've got 200 mils. We've got 280s. Lots of 280s. Christ. Nice big chunk of morphite. That's always nice to find. So if I do want to build anything out of this station specifically, I will need more robotics. And the reason I build out of this station is because the installation costs are generally very good. Now, it's always a toss-up, interesting, between whether you want to build things fast or you want to build them cheap. Now, if I'm utilizing a lot of characters, building X, Y, and Z, a lot of the time I concentrate on one specific item. So for instance, today it's a good possibility I will build, we'll say the 280s here. So I will basically buy all the stuff for the 280s and build them with however many characters or how many blueprints I have at the time. And the problem with that is, if I do that at any great length, I will soon saturate the market if I'm building them as fast as possible. So because I've got so many characters, sometimes it doesn't make sense to build them as fast as possible. The overall build cost is the biggest factor. Or vice versa. You know, if you've only got one character with 10 build slots, then, you know, your priority may be that you need to build them faster rather than slightly cheaper. Now, obviously that's for you to decide. It depends on what I'm building. So at the moment, I am the Heavy Nova missiles I build at perimeter, and that is because they build faster. Now I only have one of these BPOs, so it's in my interest to be able to build them as fast as possible, even though it costs me slightly more, because the more I can build outweighs the fact that it's costing me slightly more to build them, whereas, so say, other things, it doesn't always equate to that. So it's something to bear in mind and to think about. So I have a few stockpiles of minerals, as we have seen. So now it's time to try and do the calculation of whether it is worth it. So let's have a look at the 280s. This one always gets fun, where it always jumps around. There we go. So 280. I want to build one unit. How much will it cost me? So 1.18 to manufacture plus installation cost. How much are they currently selling for? Considerable amount, plus the invention cost. So they are generally quite profitable at the moment. Now, this is where we are, Anson. So you can see it's 16,000 installation cost, and this will just iterate what I was saying a minute ago. So if we have a look at perimeter, obviously at Anson it takes 23 minutes and it's costing me 16k. Now if we have a look at perimeter, I can build them much faster but at almost triple the cost. Now 16k to 52k isn't a huge amount of ISK when all's said and done. However, if we pull up the calculator, let's have a quick check at this, so we'll round that to 52 because I can't quite remember 100% what it was at the other, minus for 16k, so it's 36k extra per unit. I'm producing 100 units if I per character, so that's 3.6 mil times 6 characters and times that by 3 times a day. So if I utilise all my characters by just using perimeter, it's going to cost me an extra 64 million ISK above and beyond what it would cost me to do it in Ansem. So for me, obviously that would be producing what, 3,000 units. I can't sell 3,000 units a day, full stop. So the way that I will look at it is that I would probably want to do it at a better price, not as quickly as possible. So again, there's numerous reasons why you want to do it quickly. If there's a huge spike in the market and all of a sudden you need to get them out faster because obviously you want to take advantage that the price has spiked, then obviously time is of the essence and the cost doesn't really matter, because obviously with the prices being inflated, you'll make that back with ease, and therefore the biggest concern is trying to get it out as fast as possible. So as I said, there are numerous things to think about when you are producing something. So here we are back in perimeter, just waiting to dock up. Come on, chop chop. And again, this is just to see what we've got. Let's have a look. Copying stuff. Capacitor relays, not many multi-specs. Lots of capacitor relays, can't even remember making them, that's interesting. Vespers, Wardens, Copros, more heavies, rapid heavies, rapid lights, always fun to build, and more of the same of these legacy ones. Nope. So yeah, but basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crunch some numbers and see which is basically worth my time to make. So I often get asked which program I use in order to find trades and that, and my go-to generally is Eve Industry. Now this site is quite old and hasn't been updated for a good while, however it still does what I need it to do until CCP decides to change things up. Now I can't really do it for a lot of ships now because they take different materials and it hasn't necessarily been updated, but it still pulls the relevant information for modules and that. So we can see here, you type in your item of choice, we'll go for the 280s, we've got the T1 here and it basically tells you how much it costs to make. Now we don't obviously have or one, you've got your drop down there, you can turn it to a T2 if you've got the BPO and it'll tell you roughly how much you're making. Now obviously this is in the old POS system, so this is different, so this is better now. You would be building it faster at perimeter so that what you would be making per hour would be higher than it is there, but what I'm interested in is the invention part, because obviously I will be inventing it. This gives you a breakdown, again, nice, easy, clear and concise, and it's simple, and I really like it because it's really simple. It tells me the cores here that I'll be using, roughly the price, the invention cost per unit is 30,000, really important. Roughly how much it is at the current market rate to actually make it, 1188, and basically how much roughly you will be making per hour. Now this is, as I said, incorrect. You will be making more if you make it at perimeter or wherever, because obviously that's on the old POS system and we have faster building times now. So even at a slow building pace, in an NPC station it said 23 minutes when we looked at it earlier, so it'll be roughly making 300k an hour building the 280s. And we can just cycle through the stuff we were looking at. So we've got the coprocessors, 206, what else, cap power, power relays, pretty decent. Let's have a look at the rapid heavies. These are always interesting, they fluctuate quite a lot. You can make a decent amount of ISK at the moment, not a huge amount, but yeah. So let's have a look at heavy missiles. Nope. Light missiles. Maintenance pot, excuse me. There we go, light missiles, so not great. What else do we have? We had 200s, 120 Valkyries. And you can see how long this is taking. Now, you can add the data cryptors here, but for modules, there's very little point. Now, you may, with some of the bigger modules, it may actually be worth it. And again, we've got 97 here in a pass, so you can just add the data cryptor. Gives you a whole list of data cryptors that you can add, and if you just click it, you can go it down, and basically it'll tell you the difference in price and profitability, etc. as you scroll through. So it's a nice way of checking it, and again then it updates the amount of invention cost you're using. So let's go back to the 280s. Now, as I said, this site is pretty old, so if I use the data cryptor, we're getting 400k. That's quite interesting. That's quite a... no, still not worth it. So no data cryptor for the 280s still results in more profit. So basically what it tends now to lead to is that we need to check this in game to make sure that it is coming out at roughly the price that it says it's coming out at. So cost apparently to build 1237. So let's have a look. So this is currently the production center next door, 2228. 2228, so it's slightly down at perimeter, but that could be because obviously it is a better station. Let's just check it at Anthem. I don't think it's going to change. Nope, hasn't changed. So plus installation cost 16, installation, manufacturing. So I could potentially build these at Jitter. Now you have to change some of the tax rates, and I think it's about 250 in order to get the tax rate in Jitter. So the installation cost at 58k, which is roughly what we were paying next door. Let's just check Jitter. 59. So pretty much, so even if I were to make these at Jitter, we would still be making 463,000 per unit. Let's have a look at that. So that's per hour. Let's check the profitability per unit. So 261,000 is per unit. Be making 10 units per BPC, so times 10 per character, 10 slots per character, so 26 million ISK per character times 6 characters, 157 million, and then times 3, because I can do 3 production runs a day, so I could be making roughly, I got potential 500 million ISK, assuming I sell them all at that cost. So I can potentially make that per day and then swap onto another item after I've got to the point where obviously I'm starting to saturate the market. I can keep a few in reserve for when prices spike, although this is obviously a spike at the moment, so this isn't, I don't see it holding here, but you never know. So yeah, let's get the stuff together and start building some 280s. So I'm not going to bore you with the rounding up of the materials there, I'm just going to get on and do it. So with that, I think I'll round up the video there. If you've got this far and you haven't subscribed, then please do think about it. It is very much appreciated. It does help me a huge amount and keeps me going. And again, with any comments, if you've got anything that you'd like to add to that, then please by all means drop it in the comments. I'm always open to things that I haven't thought about or things that I may potentially have done wrong. So thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and I hope that was interesting. Talk to you again soon.